Hey guys, it's me, Gabriel, coming to you with that evening spark. So, hope you're having a great night. Settle in, enjoy yourself, and yeah, have a good time. So, shedding light on lust. Now, lust, I think, traditionally has been viewed simply as having desires of premarital sex, basically. And then that leads to fornication and that all that stuff and that's all fine and well, albeit I would say not so black and white. I think when one really gets down into it, I think it's not. There's a little bit more. It's a little bit more gray than that, and I think there's a little bit more to it than that. And I think, in all honesty, when you really look at what lust is, you can see how far more pervasive it is beyond just the notion that it's this aspect of sexuality. I think there's an aspect to it that can be sexual. I think it's everything really when we look at it. Because recently I was reading something about expectation, and when you look at what expectation is, our expectations, I think at the heart of it all, really, lust is expectation. It's a out of a line. It's expectation out of alignment with reality. So you can have you can enjoy money, but you could also lust after money, and then what that does is you start to only look at people in regards of only what I can get out of you. I can get something in return, and I'm only going to help you if I can get something in return. So in a sense, that lusting, as it were, desiring something beyond for what you should have it within its normal parameters. So the sexual, very well, could be good, could be okay. But I think where it off, I think the thing about sexuality is that it is among the more sensitive and vulnerable states in which people engage in, because you're engaging in something with two people for the most part, I would imagine. But for the sake of this, we'll just say two people, where you're exposing yourself in such a raw and open way. And so I think it's more about the vulnerability. Because I've seen plenty of naked dudes before, and it was like, oh, now it's just like, because I was, BMT, you go in that shower, I mean, a lot of naked dudes, but I didn't want to have sex with any of them. Because it was a different thing. So it's not so much the nakedness, it's the vulnerability, it's the state of intimacy. And I think the reason why Jesus and the apostles caution sexual promiscuity isn't so much don't have sex before marriage. I think it's because all too often when you delve into that state of vulnerability, it's such a sensitive place for people. It's such an open and honest and raw place for people that when you abuse that and mishandle that in a selfish kind of way, it really can do a lot of damage to people. It can really hurt them in the long term. And so I think really when it comes down to it, in regards to the sexuality, I think if there is a dynamic of wanting to please your partner, wanting to give unto them, being selfless, basically, I think in a selfless way, and you are engaging in whatever activity it may be, sexually, or if it would be financially, like being generous, giving money to charities and giving money to those who are less fortunate, or what have you, paying for a meal for somebody, helping someone without expecting anything in return, doing it for the sake of doing it. And then really that is the heart of what Jesus was talking about, what the apostles and what really the true great spiritual sages of the world get at, releasing your expectations. Because I think that's where the heart of the tragedy of adultery is because it stems from a standpoint of deprivation. You feel like you don't have enough, that you aren't satisfied with your partner, and so that you seek out other means and other people. and you don't feel like you're being valued. And I think that's the thing. Jesus talks about, those who, he says, it is written that, don't, murder somebody. Or what did he say? Let me we'll hear from the horse's mouth, as it were. Um, let's see, give me a second. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, Thou shalt not kill. Whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Rakah, shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, Thou fool, shall be in danger of hellfire. So basically what Jesus is getting at there is that when you devalue someone and you reduce them to a very devalued state of self, because rakah means basically you're worthless. You're not really worth anything. So you're basically calling someone a fool and being angry at them and thinking that they're worthless. Those three things. They really devalue someone, and you basically look down on them to try to raise yourself up. And I think that's where lust stems from, in all honesty. I think that really, when you look at the heart of that, it stems from that state of, a lot of times, like with hookups and stuff like that and what have you, there's very much so, what can I get out of this person? That if they don't satisfy my needs, they're dead to me. And that is very detrimental, I think, to the valuing of ourselves and to others, because everyone deserves to be valued. Everyone deserves to be felt worthy of love. And I think I've seen a lot of people, a lot of women, struggling with that notion when they really get down to it, because they feel like there's a tendency for them to be afraid of commitment because they've been hurt a lot of times. And guys too, I've struggled with that a lot. I have to work on that because I've had to grow. But I think at the very least it's helped me be open and understanding of how people are. Like, man, I've been through that too, and that can help build that divide or bridge that divide. And so I think really when we look at the dynamic of lust, it's not so much about whether or not you're having sex with someone before marriage, or that you think, these sexual thoughts towards someone. It's more about when you look at something in the sexual only in regards to what you can get out of somebody and what they can do for you. I think that is where the sexual becomes a dynamic of lust and fornication. It's more about when you're reducing people down to just a bodily base, because you don't recognize the true value of what someone's about. And so I don't think that by holding that notion either, that suddenly means you have to ward off sex entirely. I just think that one needs to shift the perspective of how they're going about somebody. I think really the relationship shouldn't be just about the physical. I think really, in all honesty, the true holy relationships that we can have with each other are when we are giving unto others what they need, and basically sharing the best interests, our best interests with another, basically making them as one, so there's that sense of unity with each other. And I think when we do that, there's a real sort of helping thinking. You're only thinking, if both people are only thinking about the other, then neither will need to worry about themselves, because each will be focusing on building the other up and being willing to go at the pace of the other. I think really can be helpful in the longevity of our relationships that we can have with each other. So I think that really can help offset and the essence of lust, and I think can help put it in a better direction, because it makes it more of your focal point, that you can recognize that you are wired to win at being able to make, I want to say make the other person a priority, but you are wired to win at being able to have holy relationships, that you're able to love them without expecting anything in return. Loving them as they are and having them love you as they are. And that balance of respect and growth and love and acceptance, I think, really sets the foundation for the true kind of love that we can have with each other. So we're going to end it there, and I surely hope you subscribe. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts about what we just talked about. I'd love to hear it, and I hope you have a blessed day. You can find me on the Benevolent Wolfpack on Facebook, and where I share other fun little posts and things like that. And I would love for you to share this and share the love. So, yeah, from here at the Wolfpack, we do surely wish you well. Godspeed, friends.